We're going to move on to some other things that have been in the news today. Speaking of people being riled up, Pierre-Luc Dubois has been the focus of trade talk in Columbus for the last little while, and with good reason. Essentially, he's the number one center. They offered him a long-term contract. He wouldn't sign it. He signed only a 2-year contract. But things have been kept pretty close to the chest for everything. And then all of a sudden, Torts was on radio, and Torts was speaking about how this was, or they were asking him about what's going on with Pierre, and he said, he hasn't told us why he wants out. He hasn't said a word why he wants to leave. And so Torts kind of put it out there that it's on him more. So what do you think of this move done by this coach to do that publicly, Ryan? What are your feelings about that move? Are you surprised?
It's Tortorella.
That'd be my.
I'm not.
That's my answer.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't ask if you were surprised. I said, what do you think about the move?
I don't know. I don't know if it helps the situation at all. I honestly don't know why Pierre-Luc Dubois wants out. I mean, he hasn't come out and stated it. And, Tortorella basically said the same thing, is that he has no idea why either. So I'm just kind of confused as to what the whole situation is. Like, he just signed a 2-year contract, $5 million per. Is he not happy with how those negotiations went? Did he expect to receive more? Was there some ill feelings on his side? I hear sometimes the contract signs for RFAs can sometimes be a little nasty. Maybe he got some feelings hurt, or does he want out of the market? Does he not like the Columbus market? Or does he not like Tortorella? I'm really not too sure. I don't think Tortorella coming out and saying that is going to, obviously Dubois has already made up his mind that he wants to go. So, does it really help? I don't think there was any, bridging the gap or anything like that going to happen. So I don't think him coming out is going to make Dubois want to leave any more than he already does.
Is this just a thing where Torts essentially wears down guys, or is it just like his motivating tactics, or do you think there's something else going on as to why this player wants out? Anyone can answer. It's not just Pilon with his typing away, not paying attention.
Well, it very well could be, right, shelf life of a coach, and Tortorella has the shelf life, and there are some players that don't like playing for him. At the same time, you have a job to do, and if you want out, there's got to be some sort of discussion as to why. Like, it can't be just, I want to play in a better market. There's got to be something deper than that.
Do you think Tortorella really doesn't know, or he's?
I agree, Pilon. I do, and I don't think he was wrong commenting. There was no malicious intent behind him saying anything. He was stating a fact. Like, he's come into the dressing room. He's told the team he's not happy here. He wants out. He has not indicated why. And we're looking for that. Yeah,
I think as a fan base, we're looking for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But someone has to know. It can't just be Dubois that knows. He must have talked to the GM at the very least. And how can Tortorella not ask the GM what's going on here?
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of negotiating trades. But the man who does probably know is Sanjay.
Why does he want to leave? That's a good question. I think maybe he just wants a fresh start. Maybe he thinks that he's undervalued, getting $5 million in Columbus for only a 2-year deal. Maybe he was taken in the 2017 draft or 2016 draft. The Matthews draft, he was taken.
Right.
So, if you look at some of those other players on their second contract, they're all making 7+. And so maybe it just came down to contract, and maybe he feels like playing in Columbus, he can't put up the numbers that some of the other players are putting up because Tortorella has more of a defense-first system. So maybe he wants to get a fresh start and put up some more numbers like some of the other players in that draft.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because there's lots of talk and that he would blossom in a different way other places, but he's so good where he is. It's interesting. They usually don't leave a good thing, and they do have a good thing going. They've been in the second round here, or they've at least made it to they beat
Tampa, then they beat
Tampa.
Toronto. Yeah.
They beat Toronto. They've had a pretty impressive run here at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at this right now, because honestly, it sounds like trades are going to happen, and there's a potential for this to occur. Now, I don't think this is happening anytime this year, and given the fact that COVID and situations, I think trading star players is really, really, really Really, 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 really unlikely. So where do you guys see him as potential landing spots for where this guy could go and where he should be? We've touched on this before, but I think it's worth revisiting again.
I'll probably just say the same thing as I keep hearing the Dubois for line A trade speculation. So I'll just say that, like I said before, where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire, and maybe he ends up in Winnipeg.
There's also some talk about Montreal as well. And I know one trade that was kind of put out there in speculation was Suzuki and a pick for Dubois. I don't think Montreal bites with that. Suzuki's been just way too good.
He's been really good this year. I think that'd be a mistake personally.
I agree.
I'm going to say New York, the Rangers. It's an out there one, but I think the fit would be there. There's a lot of great young talent in New York. They're rebuilding. They could maybe throw some draft picks or whatever at Columbus. I haven't heard any rumors about it, but I just think it would be a good fit. And he goes from wearing the Blue Jackets to the blue shirts with the Rangers. So it's a natural fit.
I think you're interesting your points about Suzuki. Suzuki's having a great season right now. No one knows what Suzuki's ceiling is, but I don't think people really know what Dubois' ceiling is yet either. I just know that it's going to cost you less for Suzuki up front here for the next little while. And if you take someone like Dubois, you might open that window to win right now, but you're going to have to pay a lot to keep him. And there's no guarantee he's going to want to stay with you any more than anybody else. So that would probably have to be negotiated as part of it. I think your best bet to still trade him is that you don't trade him in your division. So you get him the heck out of the East. And my guess is still that the best spots to have them will be people that have lots of depth on players or prospects. And it still seems likely to be Anaheim or the Kings, who really have just a plethora of players available. And Kings are tight for cap space, so I imagine someone has to go both directions. But I don't know. I think that's your most interesting bet. There's no way you're trading him to someone you have to see him all the time. I just can't see that happening right now. Kekalainen won't have it happen.